All right. I'm about to tweet it out. People should be joining. We're live.
Should I get all my Periscope girlfriends in here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it
Surprised
was
they didn't join mine.
that was wild.
That's crazy.
It was so weird. I'm like trying to talk about LeBron James and girls just being like, "Your eyes," and I was like, "Oh God!" Like, what do you say to that? She was like, the girl was like, "Why are you
I would
ignoring?"
ignore.
I know I was.
That's funny.
She's like, "Why are you ignoring me?" I was like, "I'm trying to talk about LeBron James and his usage rate, and you're talking about my eyes." Which, like, I
Talking about
know,
your usage rate.
yeah. And she was like, "I was like, I know, like my eyes, like I get it, believe me, but
You have blue
not."
eyes?
Oh, yeah, big
Green.
time. Blue.
I have hazel.
That's dumb.
Yours are
I
probably
wonder
better.
now.
Not gonna lie.
I'm so jittery, man. All right, all my minutes looking good. Oh yeah, what's going on with Did Phoenix announce Oubre yet? No. Is he like probable or anything? Cam Johnson's out. Okay. Oubre took part. All right, so that's still the only thing I haven't done is Phoenix because I'm pending Oubre.
Hey.
JaVale McGee, you're dead to me. You couldn't get
Yeah.
me.
So tell me about that. Like, was he the
Dude,
last player that was playing for you and nobody else had people in front of
no one
you?
around me. No one around me had McGee. The person I ended up tying with had Terrence Ross.
That's
Nobody around us had anybody else. Everybody just
I
had Markel Fultz.
I wouldn't even been that mad if you had beaten the guy that you tied with, like that, because you would have gotten what, an extra 3,000 or something like that.
An extra 500 because
Five
we ended
oh
up
five
splitting
hundred.
third, so it was 5K combined. But dude, the frustrating part was like McGee came in with 6:03 left. There were only 3 rebound opportunities. That's it. I needed
Yeah,
one board for the double.
yeah, that's crazy.
And it was just and De'Aaron Fox, who nobody else had, took a
He
three with like
snapped for you.
he took a three with 2 seconds left that he missed.
The
They were down five.
sweat
He
would have
chucked
been
up three.
crazy for that. I'm glad it wasn't me. Well, for that reason,
I had
I
nobody to
wish I had
talk
two
to
thousand
about
five
it.
hundred dollars.
Amanda was asleep. I was just like punching the air.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't complain about that.
Fultz was too good. He hit every shot down the stretch, every single shot. It was insane.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Jarrett, awesome. Yeah, mine are doing pretty well too. I think I'm cashing in the majority of mine. I don't think any of mine are gonna take down though, so we'll
What
see.
happened? What
Uh,
happened? I don't have our stream out.
oh, sorry. He says his lineups are killing it right now.
Let's go, boys. Proud of you guys. I was sitting at work, bashing my head off a keyboard.
I
Let's
think
do it.
our main cash lineup is literally right on the line right now. It's kind of frustrating,
Oh,
but
wow,
other than that,
Matt,
everybody else is snapping.
you are strangely pale right now on screen.
Well, it's because of the lighting here. Let me. How's that look? Oh wow, I am. You're right.
Oh yeah, big time.
I bet I look
Trying
like
to
a
save you
ghost.
from further embarrassment. You're the one that's supposed to be coming back from the cruise.
Well, you know what? This is the first cruise I didn't get burnt out of my mind, so I
Yeah,
consider that a win. All right, we're gonna wait for a few more people to join. Oh, well, actually, a lot of people just joined. All right, you want to go ahead and get started, TJ?
um. Ooh, they updated his
Are you
own
ready?
minutes. Huh?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, CP3 snapping. Yeah, I know how you feel. I took
Where's-
CP3 out of the main lineup. All right, guys. First official stream with me and TJ, so I'm happy to be back with TJ. It's a lot better when you're bouncing ideas off another guy who knows what he's talking about. So definitely am excited to break down the slate with TJ. It's a 5-game slate. I broke down the what was it, 9 games? It was a 9-game early slate. So far so good. There's a couple games still going on. But a majority of our picks are snapping. So Brooklyn, it was funny because everybody that we didn't have just went ballistic, but everybody that we did have did pretty well. So not mad about it. But other than that, everything's going pretty well. I'm in takedown territory with a couple lineups, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Yep.
That's my take. That's my new takedown. My new takedown noise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever
He was doing that a couple nights ago when he won $2,500.
Yeah.
So I'm not in a huge tournament like that, so nothing too special. But let's go ahead and jump right into the slate. TJ, you want to go ahead and start with the most obvious chalk team on the entire slate?
Who's that?
It's Indiana.
Oh, okay, Indiana, yeah. All right, now, so obviously we have the Portland Trailblazers, again, with a plethora of injuries, guys that aren't suiting up yet after that Kent Bazemore trade. It looks like they have a nine-man rotation tonight playing at home against Golden State. We will have a lot of them in our cash lineup again tonight. I know that was the trend on, um, what was it, Saturday when they played last? What is today? Today is Monday, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, Saturday against OKC. Didn't really go too well. They were actually really bad chalk, but I'm definitely going back to the well again with them tonight. I love Dame. I love Whiteside. Both of them underpriced with all the injuries and the guys that are sitting out. And then there's a bunch of good value for this game as well, even on the Golden State side. But obviously, we got Anthony Simons, who should draw the start. We got Gary Trent, who won't draw the start, but will probably come off the bench, play 30 minutes again at 3.2K. Hazonia, again, take a shot in the dark with him at 3.5K. So a lot of great value from this game. I wouldn't be surprised if we have four of them in our cash lineup again tonight. At least three, but most likely four. So I think Portland gives you the best value. I think Dame and Hassan are locks at 8.4K and 7.5K. They're actually favored in this game too against Golden State, so I expect it to be pretty competitive. So yeah, I'm definitely looking at Portland tonight for my two locks of Dame and Whiteside, and then a bunch of values tonight as well.
Yeah, I think Damian Lillard and Whiteside are going to be the most obvious plays on the entire slate. They're not bad chalk. They are good chalk. I would plug and play. I took McCollum off the court, and it's no surprise that Damian Lillard is the offense. 1.32 fantasy points per minute is what I have him here. I just took McCollum off the court.
Yeah.
1.32 fantasy points per minute, 33.7% usage. And then Whiteside is 1.36 fantasy points per minute. Obviously, with him being a center, not garnishing as much usage. But those players are going to be our safe locks on the slate. I don't even have to confirm that with TJ. I think those are the most obvious plays on the slate. But you want to go ahead and start talking about values on this team. Who is your favorite value play and why?
I think for me it's going to be Gary Trent. He logged 36 minutes last game against OKC coming off the bench. He also had a 21% usage rate, which was a lot higher than I actually thought he would garnish. So I'm definitely looking at him at 3.2K. Should see 30 plus minutes again. So I think at 3.2, he's probably your safest bet over a guy like Anthony Simons. But I think both are really good plays. I know last time I didn't have Gary Trent. He actually wasn't high owned at all. A lot of people went with Anthony Simons and Hazonia, which is who I rostered. Neither of them really fared too well. They hit value, so I mean they weren't too bad. But again, a good matchup against Golden State at home, a 9-man rotation. A bulk of these guys should see 30 plus minutes. Hazonia will probably hover around 26, 28. I think Hazonia out of those five that I had mentioned is more of a GPP play for me tonight. Yep. Not a high usage rate guy, so I'm not really too enticed for him when it comes to cash. But if, like I said, if you land on him and he's your last guy, you can't hate it. I mean, he's good at 3.5. He should get you value or a little bit below, a little bit above. Should hover around that, 20, 22 DK threshold points. So for me, it's going to be Gary Trent and then Anthony Simons if I want to go up for him at 3.9, which I most likely will. Those are the two guys I'm looking for at value.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because they're showing the percentage. I don't think these are accurate, of course. They're showing the ownerships like pretty even amongst those guards. I think because of Gary Trent's outburst last game, it looks like he got 48 DK points. I think his ownership's going to be a little bit higher than the other guys. I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. That would make Simons probably, I'm not saying a GPP play, but lower owned. So if you want to take a stab, if you're looking at a last value play, Simons would be a little bit lower owned than some of these other guys. But yeah, what's your thoughts on Carmelo Anthony at 6.1?
He doesn't fare well in this situation with these guys off the court. He didn't last game with everybody off. He didn't really do too much. So I'm not going back to well with him. He'd be a GPP play for me, but yeah. I don't have any interest in him. I didn't have any interest in him once this trade broke. He was the only guy that I really didn't have exposure to. Worked out in my favor, so I'm gonna do the same again tonight. I don't mind him as a GPP play, but he won't make my cash build.
Yeah. before I go any further, before I talk about any more of the Trailblazers, just want to let you guys know to go ahead and enter any one of your questions in the chat. We'll be sure to get to them. We're going to be breaking down this slate as much as we can up through lock. Any late breaking injury news we'll be going over. If you are new to this stream, please hit that subscribe button. This is something we do every single night. We go live before lock and give you an edge. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it for Portland. Not too much to talk about, but that is going to be the chalkiest team on the entire slate. It's good chalk. I don't see any one of these players being bad. They should all hit value. They really should. There's no excuse for them not to. If they go over 113, I think they should definitely do that against the Warriors. Do you want to talk about the Warriors while we're on this game?
Yeah. We are waiting on Glenn Robinson. That's the only injury that we're still pending. He didn't play last game. He sat out with an ankle injury against Orlando on Saturday night. So he's kind of up in the air right now. I'm pretty sure he has a high ankle sprain. So he's a game time decision again tonight. I kind of don't think he's going to play again. So I think that means that they'll start with D'Lo, Lee, and Burks as kind of their guard type players. I really like D'Lo tonight. I think he's a really good play at 7,600. I think he'll carry some Rondo's available to play.
Yeah, I just saw that.
I want to see if they say anything about.
Also, fire your updates into the chat because we might miss them. Please.
So yeah, I really like D'Lo at 7,600. I think he's underpriced here. If Glenn Robinson sits, I like Burks as a GPP play. I think he'll get a little bit of a bump in minutes. He's projected at 26 now. I would assume he gets somewhere between 28 and 30 if Glenn's out. I mean, I could get behind Willie Cauley-Stein as a GPP play. The minutes aren't there for cash. I think at 4,200, it's a good matchup against the Trailblazers. So I don't mind him as a GPP play. Draymond, 5,700. That's pretty cheap tonight for him. So I think cash-wise, I like D'Lo. We'll have to wait and see what's going on with Glenn. And then I like Cauley-Stein. I like Draymond as GPP plays. I wish Willie Cauley-Stein was at like 26, 28 minutes, which I don't think he'll ever get. And then if Glenn Robinson's out, I think that'll make me like Burks too as a GPP play.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to touch anybody but D'Lo and maybe Draymond unless Robinson's ruled out. I don't really like anybody else. It looks like all these other Warriors are overpriced. Spellman, I don't even know why he's in the 4K range. Burks, 5.7. Lee, 6. I mean, none of these price tags really.
Spellman actually got up to like mid fives when he was starting. Yeah, he was actually playing good minutes for them when they had injuries to all their bigs.
He's productive. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he can be productive.
But yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think D'Lo is a good play. I think I'm gonna have a decent amount of exposure to him. Hopefully, I'm overweight on him because he has a good matchup as well. So 28th in the league, Portland ranks against combo guards apparently. So yeah. 28th. Who are we going to next? Is it Denver that has the most, or San Antonio maybe, or even Phoenix?
Let's just go to the first game. Let's go to that Lakers Celtics game.
Sure.
Big matchup for my Celtics tonight, man. Hopefully they show up.
Oh yeah, they're only 2-point underdogs right now.
Yeah, I mean at home too, so that's embarrassing. But I mean, Lakers are a good team. AD's playing tonight. Limited to 28 minutes, so that's good. He won't eat us alive. He probably will in that time, but man, when I look at these Celtics, I know I become such a homer when it comes to these Celtics plays. I look at their price tags and they're just all so cheap. Tatum sub 7K, Jaylen Brown barely north of 6K, Gordon Hayward 5.6. Like all these guys should get 30 minutes, so I really like them again in GPPs. I know I sound like a broken record, and Jaylen rates out really well on my sheet. I don't know if he'll be on a minute restriction because it is his first game back. He missed the last 2 games. He hasn't played in 5 days. I think he'll be good to go because it was his thumb, so I don't really expect him to be on a minute restriction. I would expect him to see 32, 34 minutes. If it's close, 35. At 6'1", he's really cheap. He's I don't know. He's too productive of a player when he's in there, regardless if they have injuries or not, to be 6'1". So I really like him as a GPP play. Kemba, Tatum, like, I mean, all these guys, even Gordon Hayward. I know Gordon Hayward's been just brutal lately, but 5,600 for a guy of that caliber. And like I said, they don't have injuries. They're fully healthy. So I understand, but I'm definitely going to have a lot of exposure to these guys. Probably not Marcus Smart, who probably will hit 11 threes again. Like, are you kidding me? He's the only guy I didn't really roster when Kemba and Jalen were out, of course. And he's the only guy I feel like when they're in a game, when they're so like lackadaisical, that he just plays with so much electricity. He's just an absolute beast. He just runs and runs and goes, and he just has a full motor at all times. Like, he took 22 threes. That's insane. Marcus Smart is not a good shooter. So for him to hit 11 of those was just absolutely insane. I don't expect him to duplicate that effort that he had. But yeah, I really like all these Celtics, man. I really like Kemba, Tatum, Jalen, and Hayward at their price tags for GPPs. I'm going to be very overweight on them, and I hope it doesn't bite me in the butt.
Yeah, here's the thing with the Celtics too. It's like their price tags are always so awkward enough where you can't take all of them, and you have to pick from the bag of Celtics, and you kind of have to hope that they hit those two that you take, or the one that you take hits value. And I think looking at your winning lineup the other night, I think you did exactly that. You took who was it, Tatum and Brown, or Hayward?
Jalen and Hayward, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like that same exact situation. It's like you gotta pick from your bag of Celtics and just hope they snap. I mean, any one of these players could go off. They're all great players. So, I can completely agree. If I had to pick one, again, Jaylen Brown, I agree that he also does have the best matchup. It looks like the Lakers rank 19th in the league at opposing scoring wings. So, also noteworthy. So, if I had to pick Jaylen Brown, I can get behind that. And then Gordon Hayward, obviously being the cheapest of them, probably will. And it's just showing all their ownership is like the same. So,
I'm just really scared of the Lakers' size. Like, I don't know how they're going to match up. I assume that Jalen will cover LeBron. I feel like they've had Hayward cover LeBron in the past. I don't think he's quick enough. I think Jalen gets the matchup against LeBron. I think Tatum and AD match up. Tyson McGee, which kind of scares the crap out of me. So, yeah, I'm just kind of intrigued. I think Kemba and Bradley match up, and then I think it's Gordon on Danny Green. So if Jalen does end up covering LeBron, I think that kind of scares me a tad bit, just because he's going to have to exert so much effort and energy on the defensive side of the ball. So that would be interesting to see who matches up with LeBron. I assume it's going to be Jalen. So I'm going to keep an eye on that pre-lock and kind of see if that affects like my ownership on him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch gears over to the other side of the ball here. Do you like any of the Lakers? Because it looks like they're all slightly overpriced, according to Roto. Do you agree with that?
With AD back. I mean, 28 minutes, so it's tough to kind of gauge, how much that will affect Kuz. They have him at 30 minutes, so I don't know if he'll see 30 with AD back playing 28. I mean, he should. But yeah, I don't really have any interest in them. I mean, LeBron for GPP, sure. If McGee wasn't 5,100 and projected at 18 minutes, I would definitely take some stabs at him, but that guy's dead to me, so I'm not going to. So yeah, I don't really like any of them for cash, obviously, and I don't really like any of them for GPPs. I'll obviously have some exposure to LeBron. I mean, you can't not. And I guess I'll have a little bit to Kuzma potentially. But besides that, like Dwight Howard could have a really big game tonight. I mean, he will match up against Cantor, and Cantor's obviously way better rebounder than Tice is. So yeah, I kind of like Dwight Howard. I also like Cantor as a GPP play tonight, just because I feel like they're really going to need him against McGee and Howard. I feel like he's projected at 17 minutes. I think he should play more than that. So I do like Cantor as an outside GPP play. But yeah, no, not really any exposure to the Lakers.
I'm going to just agree with you on that because I don't really see anybody. I think LeBron James just being one of the only pay-up options that makes sense on the slate, just because of that sole reason. I think he's going to carry a decent amount of ownership. They have him tagged here at 26%. So LeBron James being the only guy I would pay up for. Switch gears over here to Denver. Denver does have, it looks like, a decent amount of injuries. So they are without, let me wait for my page to refresh here.
Harris, Millsap, and Murray.
Yep. So that impacts pretty much everybody. Jeremy Grant.
A lot of these guys get small usage bumps. It looks like Jokic gets the best bump.
Yeah. It looks like Jeremy Grant's the best play out of that team. Jokic second best. Is there anybody else you're going to consider on this team outside of that? Oh. Hold on, guys. Just lost him. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I'll wait for him to call back. But yeah, so with Denver, it looks like Jeremy Grant and Jokic are going to be your best plays on that roster. And then outside of that, really nobody stands out. It looks like Monte Morris being the next best. I don't really look at anybody else here worth taking a stab at. And there he is. Sorry, guys.
Hey,
can you hear me?
yeah, did I get disconnected?
Yep, looks like it.
Oh,
I don't know whose fault it was. Probably yours.
buddy, that was weird.
But yeah, we're talking about Denver. So are you going to look anywhere else other than Grant and Jokic?
No. Barton for GPPs. That's it.
Okay, I can agree with that. Want to move on to Minnesota?
Yes.
Okay, so Minnesota. So fill me in here because Towns is back. Why is he only playing 28 minutes?
I didn't think he was. I thought he was projected at 34.
Yeah, it projects him there, but he only played 26 and 28. Is that just because of his injury? Coming back from injury?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with my internet. Am I lagging or am I
Nope,
good?
you're good.
Okay.
He's good, guys, right?
Why did Cat only play 28? I don't remember if he was in foul trouble or not because I thought this was a really close game against the Raptors. Yeah, I don't necessarily know why he only played 27. I mean, he was coming back from an injury in which he was out a month. If projected at 34, I think it's safe to put him at somewhere like 30 tonight then. If he does get 34 minutes, I really like him as a GPP play. I mean, Wiggins at 6'6" is really cheap. And I mean, he's just been such a disappointment. He had a really good game against Toronto, so I definitely don't mind him at 6'6" for GPPs tonight. I think he is definitely a really good play at a really good price tag. I feel like that's really low for somebody with his skill set, even though he's been, a pretty big disappointment this year. But yeah, if Cat does see those minutes, I like him as a GPP play. I do like Wiggins, and I kind of like Shabazz again. His minutes, I feel like, are going to dip a little bit, so I'm not really high on him. If I had to take two guys for GPPs, it'd be Cat and Wiggins, but I don't have any desire for any of these guys for cash.
Yeah, I completely agree. And as we know, Towns was in the 10K range when he was fully healthy and playing full minutes.
Thanks, Jeff.
So 9.9K, I think that is a fair price tag. I think for GPP anyway. For anybody who is joining, we went over all the games, almost all the games so far, besides the 2 9 o'clock games. We are on Portland. Portland is our favorite team to stack. They are in a great spot. They're in a pace-up spot, full of injuries. So Portland is our favorite stack. If you guys have any questions, feel free to go ahead and enter them into the chat. If you are new to the stream, please hit that subscribe button, that notification bell for whenever we go live. You guys are first in here to hear about the injury news and the edge on every single slate. We broke down the early slate, and that's going fairly well as of right now. So we're just continuing on, guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into San Antonio Phoenix because I feel like there's some hidden value here in this game because they are without Baines. Let's start with Phoenix. They are without Baines. And it looks like Booker and Ayton to our sheet are underpriced. Ayton averages like 1.33 fantasy points per minute, and Booker averages about that same, and they're both relatively the same in price. Do you like those players tonight?
To be honest, I'm still pending the Oubre news to see if he's in or out, so I haven't computed anything for Phoenix yet.
Well, then I'll tell you.
From a first glance, I mean, I'm not in love with their price tags. Yeah, with Baines out, I know Cameron Johnson's out, so I've just been pending to see if Oubre's going to play or not. I know he's in shoot-around today, so it looks like he'll probably be good to go. So I've just been waiting for that to actually get confirmed. So once that is, I can compute. If Oubre's out, probably Mikal Bridges at 4,700 looks pretty good. And then I'm assuming Saric will get a little bump in minutes too. So at 4.7, I would most likely like him as well. And then, I mean, take your pick between Booker and Rubio. Ayton's obviously been great, but 8.3, that's a little high. But it is a good matchup. So I mean, like I said, I don't really have too much of an input on the Suns like right now.
Yeah, I think if I'm picking from this game, like I said, Ayton's pretty productive, Booker's pretty productive. Again, these guys are kind of like the Celtics in the regard of you just kind of have to pick from the bunch of these guys for GPPs, but they are all pretty good, and it's a pace-up spot for Phoenix. For San Antonio, I'm going to switch gears here. Again, the top of the value sheet, Bryn Forbes is 3.4K, 27 minutes, a nice little dart throw if you need value. Bryn Forbes, definitely good for GPP. DeJounte Murray, 5.3, 5.5 on their sheet. Obviously, never a bad play. Pace-up spot for the Spurs as well. LaMarcus Aldridge is also another good play. He's now below that 7K price tag range, so if I had to pick between him and DeRozan, because that's always a question, I'd probably go Aldridge just because of that price tag. And yeah, I don't know if you agree with any of that.
Yeah, I do. DeRozan's been so good for you guys
Yeah,
lately.
he has. I think Popovich has purposefully made him take over the offense.
Yeah, he's logged like 35 minutes plus in the last, I don't know, handful of games. He's eclipsed 44 DK points in the last like 6 games. So, I mean, as much as I like the price reduction with Aldridge, I'll probably roster Aldridge tonight in cash because I think 6.8's too cheap. I think DeRozan's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I DeJounte Murray is a really good value on our sheet. He only played 22 minutes against Miami, which kind of scares me. They went with the hot hand and Mills, which was nice because I rostered him yesterday, so that's always good. But off a back-to-back, only playing 22 minutes, he should probably see his 26, 27 minutes tonight. And yeah, Forbes, I mean, I'm not in love with him. He does rate out pretty well on our sheet. I definitely won't roster him in cash. I guess GPPs if you want, but I'd be looking at DeRozan, Aldridge, and Murray. I feel like when it comes to these guys, especially with Gay out, those are the only guys I really look at.
Yeah, completely agree. Are any of these guys cash viable besides Aldridge?
I guess yeah. I mean I don't hate DeRozan if you land on him. I probably won't tonight, but I don't hate him.
All right. Are we going to even talk about this Indiana-Utah game? Is it worth it?
I definitely had interest in Mitchell, but I don't know. I mean, I had him in my afternoon cash build. I'm still kind of deciding at like 7-3. I feel like I'd rather pay up for D'Lo at 7-6. It is a very tough matchup.
Yeah.
Indiana on a back-to-back too. I mean, yeah, we can just glance over it quick, but I'm not really in love with any of these guys. I mean, I do like McConnell at 3,200. I don't necessarily think he's cash viable. He played 22 minutes yesterday, which is kind of nice, and he was only 3.1. I had him in my lineup until the last second, took him out. I mean, the guy hits value and only takes 3 shots, so he's very efficient. He rebounds well. He's a very good passer. So I definitely like McConnell at 3.2. Sabonis at 7.9, definitely a really good GPP play. Not for cash for me tonight. He was an absolute animal last night against Denver. And yeah, on the other side of the ball, I do like Donovan Mitchell's price tag at 7.3. He could find his way into my cash build, but like I said, I think I'd rather pay up for D'Lo. I think I'd rather get some of that the cheaper Celtic guys, of course. So yeah, someone said, "What about McDermott?" I know he shot the ball. I know he shot the ball really well yesterday. I think he was like 9 of 10. He was absolutely lights out. He saw 21 minutes, which was nice. He's been playing a lot better, and he's been shooting the ball really well. I mean, he's a scorer. That's what he does. I'm not really in love with him. I don't mind him as a GPP play at 3.4. I think I'd rather go with McConnell tonight at 3.2. But yeah, definitely not a cash build, but I don't mind as like a GPP shot in the dark.
I want to switch gears here just because we're starting to wind down on time. I'm going to go ahead and start answering questions, but before that, guys, go ahead and put any questions you have into the chat. Take a look at the screen here. For those joining, brand new to the stream, what I do is I like to pull up my lineup generator at the very end and just see what the builds are looking like. So, as we've talked about many times, Portland is the favorite here. There's 4 Portland Trailblazers here at the top of the list. Gary Trent, Whiteside, Lillard, and Simons all top the list. Those are going to be our favorite plays on the slate, I think. TJ can agree with that. Jaylen Brown next. It looks like on our 150 builds here. D'Lo, followed by Jeremy Grant, Tatum, and Hayward. We touch base on all those guys. So I think those are the general, or at least those guys are the general direction that we're going tonight. So let's go ahead and start answering questions, TJ. I'm going to scroll down here. Patty Mills, question mark. So we touched base on the Spurs. I think Patty Mills strictly got that run just because he did have the hot hand that game. That typically is what Popovich does. So if I had to pick, I'd probably pick Bryn Forbes if you're going to go that low and you're looking for a shooter. Patty Mills, I don't think it's going to be worth it unless he's one of your last slots for GPP. And you already answered the Celtics questions. Jarrett, were you in the chat to answer that? Do you like any Celtics?
Yeah, I mean, I love them all. So good luck trying to figure out which ones you want to play. I'm definitely going to be overexposed on all those guys tonight. I mean, their price tags are just ridiculous. So I really like them.
And Ingles, that's actually a good player we haven't talked about. So Ingles for Utah, let's see what his price tag is looking like here. 5.3, 30 minutes. That's not a bad price tag, but again, he's going to be low owned. I wouldn't do anything with him unless he's like your last slot or he's a GPP flyer. But Ingles 5.3, it's not bad. I like that price tag. It's a pace up, or sorry, it's an average to pace down spot for Utah because they are playing a good defensive team in Indiana. Booker, did you answer that question about the lineup from Jarrett? I think you did.
Booker, Mills, and yeah, I told him to get. I for cash, I'd want Whiteside in there.
Yeah.
And you got Dame, you got Trent. That's good. I don't think Ingles is really cash viable. I don't think Gobert is cash viable. I'd rather go Whiteside. I don't even know what Gobert's priced. Gobert at 8-1. Yeah, I'd rather go to. I know Whiteside had a really poor game with all those injuries, but at 7-5 against Golden State, like I said, he struggled against OKC. I'd much rather save $600 and go to Whiteside, especially for cash.
Jaylen Brown or Kemba, straight up.
Jaylen Brown.
I can agree with that.
Definitely.
What about Jordan Poole for GPP? Why are his minutes up? I believe he was in a shooting streak the last game. I think he was doing very well. Let me go ahead and look at that. Jordan Poole.
Yeah, he shot the ball last game.
Yeah, so that's why I got the 27 minutes. If he's projected at 13, I would assume he's gonna only get 13. I would not start Jordan Poole, especially if Robinson plays.
Yeah, if Robinson doesn't play, I like him a little more, and he probably should see like low to mid 20s. So I don't mind him as a GPP play, but for cash, I don't think Jordan Poole's cash viable. So I wouldn't go down there at 3-4. I'd probably like if you're landing on that for cash. I mean, I'd rather have Gary Trent. I'd probably rather have Hazonia. I'd probably rather have McConnell in that low price range. But you know, if Glenn Robinson's out, I can get behind Jordan Poole as a GPP play.
And yes, so no, I agree with you. I think Gordon Hayward being the cheapest on the Celtics does make the most sense. When I pick Celtics, I always pick the cheaper ones. So that's my strategy as well. It's definitely tough though. And as TJ said many times, you just kind of have to close your eyes and pick them and hope that they hit because their price tags are always so awkward.
Don't talk about them like that.
I mean, they're all good.
You're
complimenting them.
Thank you.
All right, but the Spurs beat them, so.
They didn't beat them. They smoked them. I was so.
Well, you know the series between the Celtics and Spurs is tied now this season, so it's gonna stay like that because they only play them twice.
And the Spurs won't make the playoffs in the Celtics.
So we will we'll see you in the championship if you guys can make it through the East.
Yes, Seth. Rondo back in Boston primetime game. Rondo primetime, baby. That's my guy. Rondo in primetime games is just, I mean, I'm pretty sure I said this last time.
It's a discount, too. He got 51 fantasy points last game, but he played 32 minutes.
Who, Rondo?
Yeah.
That was with LeBron out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Rondo. I love that narrative. Rondo back in Boston primetime game, dude. Sign me up for Rondo GPPs. 5+ DK points.
All right, guys, fire away. Any last questions you have? We're gonna go ahead and get off here pretty soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Simons. For GPPs, yeah, but for cash, no.
I'm scared of Poole. If Glenn Robinson plays, I'm completely off Poole. I will say that.
DeRozan or Booker? I haven't ran any numbers for for Phoenix yet because I am still. I mean, I need to know if Oubre's in.
That's a good question.
If Oubre's in, I say DeRozan. If Oubre's out, I'd probably say Booker.
Booker's better on our sheet.
With
I
Oubre
will say
in or
that
Oubre?
with Oubre even in.
Okay.
I'm just saying, but again, DeRozan has been playing lights out. I will say Booker
like the way
just
DeRozan's
because
been
he's
playing
lower
as of late.
owned. What's that?
I like the way DeRozan's been playing as of late. He's been
Yeah.
being super aggressive, so that's the only reason that. But like I said, I haven't ran the numbers for Portland. I mean Phoenix. That's the only.
And the
It's only-
Spurs absolutely suck against wings, so that's another good reason.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
They literally are one of the worst. So that's where they're. I mean, DeRozan, any kind of defense whatsoever, DeRozan just can't do it, which is why I don't like him on the Spurs.
Yeah, DeRozan's definitely not a good defender.
No.
That's evident.
All right, guys. If this is completely new to you, if this stream is new to you, please hit that subscribe button. Please join our streams every single night. We are doing this. So, again, guys, hopefully the advice worked this morning and worked for you guys a little bit later on with all those pivots that I was tweeting out. I feel like it was like a welcome back gift for me. So I was tweeting out constant pivots. Any last questions from you guys? Go ahead and fire them into the chat. We're gonna go ahead and get off here in a couple minutes. But again, I'll go ahead and pull up my roster constructions here. Completely on the Blazers.
Dame, Mills, Hayward,
Jaylen Brown,
Ayton, Trent,
D'Lo, Grant, and Tatum. Those are some of our favorite plays.
Jarrett. You got Dame, Mills, Hayward, Ingles, Whiteside, Sabonis, Ayton, Trent. I don't really love Sabonis tonight in cash, and I don't really love Mills tonight in cash. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not really in love with that lineup.
We are honest here.
Yeah. Favorite GPP plays to know? My favorite GPP plays. Let's see here.
I'll start out real quick. I'll say Ayton because he's overpriced.
Okay.
Good
my
matchup.
favorite GPP plays. Gordon Hayward at 5'6". If Willie Cauley-Stein can see more than 23 minutes, I like him. Jokic at 9'4".
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
I like Sabonis as a GPP play. I don't like him for cash. Wiggins at 6'6". I think that's really, really too cheap. I know he's terrible, but for GPP, I can definitely get behind that. And then I do like Cantor. I do like Cantor tonight. I think they're going to need him. So
we also touched base on this earlier. Carmelo Anthony would be a good GPP play.
yeah, I mean, he doesn't rate out well on our sheet. He won't carry a lot of ownership. So, yeah, he's a good GPP play as well.
All right, guys. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I'll go ahead and end it like that. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Like I said, subscribe. Please show the support. We didn't get as many people viewing this time, so I need to get back in the swing of things here. Me and TJ, I need to shake off the rust a little bit. I know TJ's been doing this, so thank you, TJ, to continuing the train. Just keeps it rolling every single night. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully we can have another $2,500 winner tonight, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a great night, and let's cash.
See you guys.